Welcome back to the Today Show. That heart of pomp and pageantry scene here in London. A family saying farewell to their beloved mother, grandmother and great-grandmother, and surrounded by all of that military precision. I love that imagery of the sailors. It was just terrific stuff. Royal editor at the Daily Mirror, Russell Myers, joins us now live with much more. Russell, good evening to you, London time. How are you going this evening?
Yeah, I'm not too bad.
Yeah.
I feel strangely emotional, to be honest. It's been a lot to take in over the last few days, and I mean, the scenes we've seen today is just extraordinary.
Exhausting.
Take us inside that emotion a little, if you can.
Well, I mean, I was in the Abbey today, a hugely privileged position, and just from the sort of haunting music, the choir, the imagery of the royal standard, the imperial crown, glistening off the stone of the Abbey. I mean, it's just it's fairy tale stuff, really. And I think it was almost in a fairy tale ending. I mean, it's not a tragedy.
Yeah.
The Queen was 96 years old. She died peacefully, and it didn't rain for once in London, and everybody has come out to pay tribute.
There was a bit going on inside that Abbey.
In what sense?
Well, there was just a bit going on
with the family.
Yeah.
Yeah. Listen, a hugely emotional day.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of things that have been said about whether Harry was singing the national anthem. It's quite interesting. I sort of picked my head up and noticed that he's almost grimacing. I mean, he was absolutely
What was going on, do you think?
Well, I think he was completely overtaken by grief. I mean, we talk about the stiff upper lip, and that was it personified. He couldn't get the words out. I think we've seen Prince Charles. He looked absolutely, King Charles, rather. He looked absolutely exhausted, and so did Camilla. And why wouldn't they be? They've had a packed schedule, and certainly, I imagine they're looking forward to a few days off.
Yeah, I thought they were talking in there. He looked completely wrecked today, as you said, understandably so. But I'm glad you raised that issue with Prince Harry, because I also looked at that and thought he's a young man who's overcome with the emotion of the moment. There was no disrespect that I felt was my interpretation in not singing the national anthem.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I did see it and I was shocked, and I thought, gosh, he's not singing the national anthem. And I've since watched it back, and I think this is not just a man who's lost his grandmother. I truly believe he's lost his only ally in the family. And when you look at it like that, where does he go from here? Because he must be very nervous about this book coming out, because that's going to cause a whole load of new problems.
But Rusty, he knows if he's not singing that anthem, I mean, he's not oblivious to the fact that it's going to get written about and talked about. How can it not be anything but?
Well, let's play devil's advocate, and I would say that, looking at him in the Abbey, I mean, he's a military man. We talk about the British stiff upper lip. I mean, that was it right there, and I think he was doing his utmost not to completely break down, because we go back to the pictures of him arriving at Balmoral. I mean, he looked absolutely crestfallen.
Yeah.
The fact that he wasn't there to say his last goodbyes, and I think the emotion is coming back. He's been away from his kids as well.
Yeah.
Harry has done an awful lot to damage this family and damage his reputation, and unfortunately it's probably all coming to a head right now.
It's all on his shoulders right now.
That's good insight.
You mentioned kids. Let's talk about Prince George and Princess Charlotte. They, in some ways, almost stole the show today.
Well, they did. I mean, what complete composure and measure.
Yeah.
I mean, again...
Look at this. Look at this. She is just drilling him.
It's just brilliant. I mean, talk about the power couple that they're going to go far, these two, and when we're at each other's side. But a huge composure by both of them. I mean, we've talked about the surprise of whether they would go. They had been to the Duke of Edinburgh's memorial service, but this is totally different. The atmosphere inside that Abbey was overawing.
Clarify this one for us too, because there was a whole lot of talk. There was a photo of Princess Charlotte, and some were claiming she was crying at the time. Do you have any further insight?
Well, I can only say, I mean, why I've seen these images, and she's 7 years old. I think when you take stock of what we've witnessed, not only just in today, but the last 10, 12 days, however far we are gone now, a hugely emotional period, and to just reflect on that as a child. I mean, Prince William has often said that it was his darkest moment, and I think that it tells you a lot about them as a family, as a unit, that they had the conversations about whether the children should go with them, and I think they will reflect on this as a family and think it was the right decision.
Not to be trite, but at 7 she could have been crying that the parents didn't take her through McDonald's.
Well, of course, yes, of course.
You know what I mean? At that age, you're kind of oblivious.
Or she was hungry or something.
Yeah,
it could be something.
But they're fantastic images, aren't they? So what do you take? How do you take it forward? This story now.
Well, I mean, I think it's a hugely important time for the monarchy. I mean, King Charles takes over a particularly fraught time, not only for his family, but you talk about the realms, the Commonwealth realms. Some of them are willing to ditch the monarchy pretty soon. I mean, we just had, within hours of the Queen dying, Antigua and Barbuda saying, we're out. Jamaica had said that we're out. We've got a big crisis, we've got a war in Europe. I mean, it's pretty heavy right now. And I think the King needs to tap into that feeling of unity that the Queen had and make a success of it, hopefully.
And look, I think Prince William and Princess Catherine will play a big role in that. And if you just look at Kate, she's not... I think she was perfection today. I thought how she handled the kids. She was so stoic. She was beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, there's some images I've seen, and they're out of a Hollywood blockbuster. I mean, talk about stoicness, you know, poised, the absolute, the best of the best, I think. And you know, the Waleses have really handled themselves tremendously well, from going out speaking to the crowds.
That's the shot, isn't it?
It is. I mean, this is the absolute future of the monarchy. And you look at that imagery again with Meghan Markle at the back, head down, not wishing to be seen. There was a lot about whether she was crying or not. And
that is an award-winning shot.
Yeah, there are some real historic images we've seen from today.
There's such power in her gaze there, isn't it? That is.
Well, everyone looks completely different. I mean, look at Camilla. She again looks shattered.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't she be? And you have Sophie, who is just absolutely overcome with emotion. She has been all the time.
And gorgeous
Rusty,
kids.
great to see you. Go and get some sleep. I just heard a can of rum and coke open in the background there, so go and enjoy that before you go home. I think it was Camilla Tominey opening that one, so you'll have to wrestle it off.
Got your name on it.
You deserve it, mate.
Thank you, mate.
Lovely to see you, brother. Welcome back to today. It's just gone past 10 to 9 on the East Coast. 10 to midnight here in London, and the UK newspapers are going to print. This is the stunning front page of the Mirror. Until we meet again, we love that. Look at that double wraparound.
And missing you on the back page there with the Queen's corgi. Well, Royal Editor Russell Myers is back with us. That is a beautiful front and back page, Russ.
It is. It's stunning. I mean, the designers at the paper have been exceptional this week, and we've really stood out from the crowd. Well, I would say that, wouldn't I? But I think we've really done it justice, and those two images, I mean, this beautiful image of the pallbearers, and we've seen them across the week taking on a huge, important role, and of course the corgis. They're beloved dogs, and they must be pretty sad without their...
Well, they'd certainly feel sad being having Andrew looking after them now. That would be a major letdown, wouldn't it? I say nothing though. Look,
you know what? Were you talking about the pallbearers there? I mean,
you just fobbed me off.
No, I thought I was saving you.
It's okay, dear.
I thought I was saving you.
You don't have to ask anything more.
I'm looking after you, trust me. But you mentioned the pallbearers and that moment carrying the coffin into St George's Chapel.
Yeah.
I mean, we were holding our breath, like, you know, the responsibility that they had today.
Yes, of course. I mean, I think when we looking at the procession, and it was quite long, and the crowds were out, and then suddenly the solemnity of the occasion just switches back in, and you're there in this chapel, which has seen some really joyous moments over the last few years, and some incredibly sad ones as well. But that job, I mean, is. Well, it's just the pinnacle of their royal career, their royal association, I suppose, and they carried it off magnificently.
Have you been able to glean any more information on the Harry stuff, or has it all kind of been...
No, what about him, the non-singing and stuff?
Yeah.
I have looked at the pictures, and I said when I was there in the Abbey earlier on today, and I think that, again, you know, let's play devil's advocate. That the man has just lost not only his grandmother, I think he's lost an awful lot of his his future almost, because how does he come back from this? I mean, it's a pretty bad mess, and as I said, I've said before, there's a lot of nervousness in the camp because of this book.
That all starts tomorrow, doesn't it? I mean, the rest of it, you know, it'll be interesting to see how they play it, whether or not they get out of Dodge or.
Well, they'll be gone. I mean, I mean, on the one point, they've been away from their kids for nearly 2.5 weeks, and then the other. You know, are they really welcome? Are they part of this fold? Well, they don't want to be, right? So there's no role for them here.
But you've had, like, Meghan's podcast has been put on hold. There's another magazine cover that's put on hold. Harry's book, we're now being told everything's put on hold, but it will all still happen.
Well, they're not indefinite, right? So you can pause a podcast. You might be able to put off a book release for a few weeks, but it's happening. And I think when you look at just the outpouring of emotion for a woman who gave so much, I mean, we were looking at what was said in these two incredible ceremonies: duty, sacrifice, being selfless, and what on earth has that got to do with the Sussexes? Arguably, well, nothing. And so they're in a bit of a sticky wicket.
What about the attention on them today? I mean, it's. I don't know that there's another family in the world, literally,
surely.
that could have carried this off.
Yeah, surely not. And you look at the kids as well. I mean, carried themselves with huge composure. Well, you're looking at the future, right? We saw it on when we were here for the Platinum Jubilee on the balcony. The Queen was very, very astute in that she wanted the future of the monarchy to be seen, and it definitely didn't include Andrew, and it definitely didn't include the Sussexes, and I think they're in good hands.
Can I just say, from that first seeing the coffin appear from Balmoral, however many days ago that was, I'm not even sure now, and for it to travel through Scotland, to make its way to London, to what we saw today, there was that beautiful moment when the coffin was lowered where I think we all sort of felt she can finally rest.
Yeah, it is. I mean, going back to her beloved husband, the fact that it's back at Windsor, she spent the last couple of years, and they were very happy years, and after sort of post-coronavirus franticness, I think, in this country. And the Archbishop of Canterbury said that today. He said he used that line from Vera Lynn's "We Will Meet Again," and that was so iconic, not only that generation, but the Queen brought it to our generation as well. And we said it on the front page of the Mirror tomorrow. Until we meet again.
So lovely to see you, and it was a great wrap up of things this week, but you and your paper have done a terrific job over the last 11 days.
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure to be here.
And you continue to get more and more handsome as the night goes on.
I feel I'm getting in the way.
You are.
Oh no, I'm attached. I can't, so I've got to stay. Thanks, Rob. It's been lovely seeing you this week.
Wedding ring was attached, or
something?
Oh, that's right. She just remembered she's married. Thank you, Russ.
Thank you very much.
G'day, it's Ali.
And Karl.
Thanks for watching the Today YouTube channel.
Subscribe now for brand new videos every day and exclusive bonus clips.
Ali, say please.
Please? Why?
Please. I don't know.